The out of print crisis on Infinite Earths. Here we go. Not that Crisis on Infinite Earths is out of print, but we'll get to that in a second. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm John Delarose, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. You can head to the link in my description below and please do so. You'll get a graphic novel from me. If you love sort of the Batman books, DC Comics, you're really going to enjoy Flying Sparks and Metagirl. So I really hope you'll pick that up. After that graphic novel, there are 3 more volumes of graphic novels on Amazon, or you can go to the main series on there and grab the individual issues on Kindle. Either way you like it. So please check those out and support the channel. Really appreciate people that do. Okay, today's topic is DC and their collected editions department. DC seems to be focused on some weird thing with Future State. They're paring down their titles and they're pushing, of course, diversity replacements, much like a lot of Marvel Comics has already done in the past. But what they're doing is neglecting their collected editions department all the way around. We see a lot of this going on. If you're not familiar with what DC does a lot, they push out a ton of different books and they put them up in the solicitations, in catalogs and all that, and they cancel them periodically. I've seen a lot of different things canceled. I've seen cancellations and resolicitations. The most famous one right now is probably the fact that John Byrne's Superman was supposed to be this nice oversized omnibus, and then they broke it down into small standard size hardcovers as they actually came out to print with it. There's a bunch of other things that just simply haven't come out or got removed from their listings that people complain about pretty regularly. I was pretty upset with Fables, which is their Vertigo imprint, was supposed to get a nice oversized hardcover omnibus, and they downgraded that one to a softcover. So DC's already in the business of having problems with their books. A lot of their books are also going out of print really fast, and it's because they do very low print runs. Batman Second Chances is one of those books that they did a very low print run of also. So I'm going to be focusing on Batman because I've been collecting that lately and kind of going through this. And I'm going to just show you how DC's push these tiny print runs for things that have a lot of consumer demand attached to them. Second Chances is one of those. So this is just the stuff that happened right post-Crisis. Now, Crisis on Infinite Earths, as I kind of joked about in the intro, was kind of their big event that started DC continuity on a level that it really hadn't had before. It happened in the early to mid 80s, and they relaunched their entire line. Everything from that point forward kind of was what the DCU morphed into, and DC became immensely more popular once they produced that Crisis event. Now, Batman has been made post-Crisis by a couple of series called Caped Crusader, which follows Batman, the title, and Dark Knight Detective, which follows Dark Knight, the title. Now, DC's already made a bunch of blundering errors in this by omitting different stories. So they omitted Frank Miller's Year One, they omitted Year Two, they omitted Second Chances here, and they omitted A Death in the Family. So those 4 stories have already not been included in these, and I have no idea why. It doesn't make sense because this is the continuity of Batman. So they should at least, if they're skipping Year One and Year Two as their own thing, because those were in past continuity, they should have Second Chances and A Death in the Family just in these series there. But for some reason, they put them out. So Second Chances came out by itself. And this came out in 2015. I believe the Caped Crusader line, when did this start? When did the Caped Crusader line start with book 1? Where's book 1? We'll find book 2. So February 2019. So I guess that came out in 2018, but Second Chances was already out of print by that point. And so they could have just included it in there and just made for something a little bit better. Now, Second Chances is getting so hard to find. As you can see, we've got one used at $88, and this is the cheapest I've seen it. So if somebody wants to grab this, this is probably the best you're going to get it. I have not seen much below that, and this includes eBay. Amazon's not doing their weird algorithm thing. If you look on eBay, you're lucky to find one copy of Second Chances, if any, and they're all in the $100 plus range at this point. So this is one of those ones that just went out of print because it had a low print run. They just underestimated demand for this era. They seem to really not want to promote Jason Todd as a character, from what I could tell. They just kind of want to sweep him under the rug as much as possible. But this is a very popular point in DC history, very interesting stuff to read. And so people are wanting this, especially as they're picking up this Cape Crusader and Dark Knight detective series, and they want to get the full continuity of what's going on because those are out of those books for some unexplained reason. Now they're already having problems with the Cape Crusader and Dark Knight Returns staying in stock. This just came out last year, May 26th, and look, you can see that there's none available on Amazon. It's getting exceedingly hard to find. When one does pop up, it's already at the $80, $100 level, and these retail, I believe, for $34.95, if I'm not incorrect. And the last Dark Knight Detective, Volume 3, which is from 1 year ago, also out of stock. So people are clamoring for these. I can't find them in comic shops currently. And yet DC is underprinting them to the point where they're just gone. And this is Batman, its flagship character. If they just printed more of these, they would sell out. It would be just printing money for DC. So there's no reason for them to kind of pussyfoot around with the way that they're doing these collected editions. And yet, for some reason, they keep doing it. I don't know what the answer is. I don't even know who's over there at DC paying attention to this stuff, because the entire community of comic book collectors who are in the graphic novels realm always complains about DC. They don't seem to have a point of contact where they're in charge of things. They don't really seem to outreach to the community. Now, Marvel, by contrast, does quite the opposite. David Gabriel is kind of in charge over there, and he's very plugged in with the major YouTube channels who are doing these collected editions, and they seem to quickly turn around and come out with books that people want and reprint books that people are demanding that are out of print. So DC can learn something from Marvel. You just got to follow what they're doing. Batman, the Dark Knight Detective, and Cape Crusader are very good examples of that. It feels like the Marvel Epic collections, even though it's not labeled with a brand like this. So it's kind of nice on that level. But already putting stuff outside of continuity, or rather not including stuff that's in continuity, is a bad start. And allowing these books to go out of print within a year with no possible way for people to catch up on the series dooms future volumes to failure, because why are you going to buy volume 5 or volume 6 if you can't get volume 4? That's kind of how these things go, unfortunately. I don't know what to do about it except for bring it up here. It's kind of sad because this is a great era of Batman as it leads post-crisis up to that Nightfall era. A lot of this stuff was never collected before, so it's very exciting to read, especially as we're getting into that Doug Mensch and Chuck Dixon era right before Nightfall. There's some really cool stuff in there. All right, let me know if you're having frustrations with this also. Leave a comment down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll be back reporting on comic news as much as possible. See ya.